Hey everybody, Alex Smart here. We're back with you with 10 more laws you didn't know about bicycles. So the first one, Moore's Law, don't give me that Moore's Law shit. Hey, what the f you looking at? So these are 10 more laws you didn't know about bicycles. Number one, the number one cause of bicycle accidents in most major cities, the car door. There actually is a California vehicle code that prohibits people from opening doors in front of other vehicles, believe it or not. There has to be a law for that. It is California Vehicle Code 22517, and it reads, "No person shall open the door of a vehicle on the side available to moving traffic unless it is reasonably safe to do so and can be done without interfering with the movement of such traffic." So just be safe, look before you open them. Number two, I've had things thrown at me. Fortunately, they had horrible aim and they completely missed. So there is a law that prohibits this, believe it or not. For this law, you have to go back to 1872, and it's Penal Code 240. An assault is an unlawful attempt coupled with a present ability to commit a violent injury on the person of another. Now it has kind of that 1800s wording. It is a penal code. It's not a California vehicle code. It's a penal code. So it is against the law to throw things at a bicyclist. Okay, so number 3 and 4 kind of go together, but let's start with number 3. Number 3 is about a video recording of a peace officer or a police officer. Now, people have a lot of questions about this, and it does vary widely from state to state. However, there are a lot of consistencies also. For example, it is actually legal straight out in 38 states, as long as you don't physically interfere with the police officer's work. Now, for 12 states, which includes California, they require the consent of all parties for you to record a conversation, but, and here's where the catch comes in, there's an expectation of privacy provision that courts have ruled subsequently that does not apply to on-duty police officers or really anyone in public. Now this is where it gets tricky. The thing is, in most states, you're not allowed to record someone who does not provide consent. However, and this is, the First Amendment, freedom of the press. So for example, Flanagan versus Flanagan, that's where they had sort of established that, quote, "an objectively reasonable expectation that no one is listening in or overhearing the conversation has to be established." There was a previous case also that was from 1989 that was California versus Gibbons, where a California appellate court had ruled that this statute applies to the use of hidden videos as well. So whether the camera is hidden or in plain sight, if you're out in a public space, then you are subject to be recorded. And again, this includes on-duty police officers, as long as you don't interfere with their work. Okay, so now related to number 3 is number 4, and now we're going to be talking about whether or not you need to show identification or an ID card. So first of all, there is actually no law as far as the United States level is concerned, the federal level is concerned, whether or not you have to show a government ID or even carry one, honestly. However, in certain states, again, there's different laws that require you to carry IDs. In 24 states, police may require you to identify yourself if they have reasonable suspicion that you're involved in a criminal activity. Again, this is where the gray area comes in, but that's for 24 states. Now in California, you can refuse to provide an ID while police are detaining you. However, if you're being reticent to help, that just causes other issues, and this is all judgment call, but honestly, I would probably show my identification just because they have many other ways to get you other than whether or not you show your ID. Okay, so these are more laws, 10 more laws you didn't know about bicycles. What is a bicycle according to the law? Now the fascinating thing about this is there is no definition at the federal level of what a bicycle is. I guess it's one of those states' rights things. Each state has the right to make their own definition of what a bicycle is. Now, according to California law, this is how a bicycle is defined. This is California Vehicle Code 231. A bicycle is a device upon which any person may ride, propelled exclusively by human power, that's the key, through a belt, chain, or gears, and having one or more wheels. One wheel, but it has to have a belt, chain, and gears. And interestingly, the unicycle community actually feels left out by this because they have one wheel, but they don't have a chain, belt, or gears. So I'm not really sure why they didn't just say a bicycle has a crank and pedals, something that human powered that has a crank and pedals, something like that. but that's how they define it. In August of 1888, so right before the big bicycle craze of the 1890s, in Great Britain there was a local government act that basically literally had to change the bicycle from being called a nuisance, legally being called a nuisance, to defining them as carriages, which of course was the thing at the time. They had horse and buggy. Let's go back to 1968. There was a convention on road traffic. Tons of countries made an actual treaty to say this is what a bicycle is. And the reason why is this was the first time internationally that it was brought into the vehicle, the realm of being a vehicle. Number 6, helmet law. Now, most people don't know that you actually do not have to wear a helmet. I don't know why you wouldn't want to, but you don't have to wear a helmet. If you're 18 and over, if you're under 18 years of age, you do. You're required by law to wear a helmet, including, I guess, if you're on a skateboard or roller skates, which is interesting. The other interesting thing that this law stipulates is the standards that are required for the helmet construction. It's actually a good thing because all of the helmets that you buy in stores, usually almost all of them have these ratings. And the two governing bodies that you want to look out for the certification are the ASTM, which is the American Society for Testing and Materials, or the United States Consumer Product Safety Commission, CPSC. Okay, so number 7, we all sort of know this, but I don't think people realize that it's a law. So sudden lane changes, that is actually in the vehicle code. The reason why I bring this up is because a lot of times people not only make sudden lane changes between lanes, but also across the bike lane, not signaling when they're turning right or kind of getting into the bike lane and then signaling. There are vehicle codes actually that talk about going into bike lanes to make right turns, for example. So it is seen as an additional lane of traffic that if you do have to use it for one of those reasons, then you do have to signal to go into a bicycle lane. So let's get back to sudden lane changes, which is referenced in California Vehicle Code 21658. A vehicle shall be driven as nearly as practical entirely within a single lane and shall not be moved from the lane until such movement can be made with reasonable safety. First of all, entirely within a single lane is important. Sometimes they sort of drift into bike lanes and so forth. The biggest problem for bicyclists is car drivers not seeing them. People always say, oh, don't you worry about the jerks on the road. Actually, the jerks are the ones that usually see you, so they're not as much of a problem as the well-intentioned people who just aren't paying full attention. So, and this is not just distracted driving or texting while driving, it's literally just people just not expecting to see bicycles because there are fewer bicycles on the road than cars. So just expect a bicycle wherever you are, whenever you make a lane change. And please signal. Signals are so key for us. It's a great point of communication. Okay, so number 8 of 10 more laws you didn't know about bicycles. Farting. Okay, this is interesting because there actually is some legal ramifications to passing gas. It actually can be illegal if it's construed as assault. Now, the interesting thing is the law would say that it has to be deliberate and intended to offend, or it could be a public nuisance or disorderly conduct. Now, these are all difficult to prove because farting is also a natural thing, but if they can prove intent, then yeah, you could be cited for farting on a bicycle. If you're traveling in Malawi, I guess it's pronounced, in Africa, then actually it's illegal across the board. They have an old law that states any person who voluntarily violates the atmosphere of any place so that it makes it noxious to the health of the person in general dwelling or carrying on business in the neighborhood or passing along the public way shall be guilty of a misdemeanor. And if you're a cow, you also have to look out because we have to limit the methane gas that rises from farms and cows from belching, farting, and manures. So for the cows out there, it doesn't exactly say, you know, how much you have to limit your farting, but just on the safe side, I'd hold a few in. If you're in Florida and you're outside on a Thursday after 6, can't fart then either.
Okay, Sherman Sitter here, doing a little special guest appearance in this stupid ass video. Okay, so we're talking about 10 more laws you didn't know about the bicycles, and I'm here to talk about number 9's, which is about animals. Okay, now it's f***ing cliche and stupid that they picked me to do the animal one, because I can talk about any vehicle code. Okay, but you know they're dumbasses, so they put me here for this one. Now the thing is, this is a very important vehicle codes, okay, because you know, humans is a bunch of dumbasses and they try to kill each other on the road. Well, that's fine, well, FUs, but you know, what you can't do is kill animals, okay? You know, you can screw each other and run into each other with your stupid cars, but don't fucking mess with me, okay? Now, here's the thing. Most animals are respectful. They stay out of the road. In the chance they go in the road, maybe there's some dumbass human that wants to take the animal in the road. Well, there's a California Vehicle Code for that, okay? So, California Vehicle Code 21759, the driver of any vehicles approaching any horse-drawn vehicle, any ridden animal, fucking hate that, any livestock shall exercise proper control of his vehicle and shall reduce speed or stop as may appear necessary or as may be signaled otherwise requested by any person driving, riding, or in charge of the animal or livestock in order to avoid frightening and to safeguard the animal or livestock and to ensure the safety of any person driving or riding the animal or in charge of the livestock. Now, first of all, this is fucking BS because, you know, not all of us is livestock. Some of us are free roaming animals. They don't fucking put that in the fucking vehicle code. Okay, so screw you, California. You know, the other thing is, you know, why is it always about the person? What if the squirrels are signaling you to slow down and be careful, but you don't have to listen to squirrels? What, you just have to listen to other stupid-ass humans? We all know how well that works out. Okay? Squirrels have been here for 4 or 5 million years in the United States. We're from the Pacific Northwest. So we was here first, so screw you. Okay? Everybody's talking about, oh, the bicycle was here first. Bicycles should have rights too. Well, F you all. Okay? Humans that drive cars and bicycles, F you both, because squirrels were here first. Okay? So deal with it. F you.
Okay, number 10, can you have sex on a bicycle? Well, of course you can in private, but if you're in public, it's actually questionable. Here's the thing. It's technically legal to have sex on a bicycle. However, you could be fined for indecent exposure. So you would have to do it in such a way that you would not show anything that is a private part, basically. The answer is yes, you can have sex on a bicycle, but you have to be very creative to do it. Okay, a little bonus for you, for all of you elephant riders out there. If you're in Florida, you have to plug a meter if you put your elephant at the meter. Also, if you're in Miami, just so you know, it is forbidden to imitate animals.
Yeah, you better not f***ing imitate me, okay? I'm f***ing Sherman Sitter, I'm one of a kinds, and all you losers out there, you better learn something here, because all these laws is making sense to me's. So F you, and don't imitate me, you f***ing losers. Especially in Miami. I'll throw your ass in the clink. Okay?